And we are live. It is Sunday, May the 3rd. Man, we're already in May. Wow. What happened to April? Oh, right. We all took April off. That's right. It's the Sunday hang. I am hanging with, I'm going to call him a luthier. I'm going to call him a hell of a nice guy. I'm going to call him Mr. Car Karaoke as well.
Oh, God.
Some people know him as Brendan B Squared. Others of us know him as Butt Cheeks. Mr. Brendan B Squared himself in the house. How you doing, buddy?
Hello. How are you, Ben?
Not too shabby, surviving.
Awesome. Yeah, very good. Very
Searching
good.
for tone. You know how it is.
Always chasing the tones.
Yeah. Yep. Endless journey.
That's sometimes you catch them, sometimes you don't. Yeah. It is an endless journey. And I don't know where April went. I really don't. April.
I don't know.
Let's do this. Let's do that. Oh my God, it's May.
Exactly. Let's see. Who do we have in the chat? Man, it's flying already.
Did I lose
We
you?
have, not first in the chat. First in the chat, technically at about 3:30 this afternoon, who just simply put balls, was Jay Hannon. And then we have still in the chat here, Absolute Mayhem, Hurricane Moon, Paul Ewing, Terry Himes, JP Page 2, Nick KB Music. We have the Great Vanzini, Peter DeBad, Marsman, Tempest, Milk Tea, Vandy Man. Oh, man, scrolled ahead on me all of a sudden. All right, here we are. ZD351 or ZD351 if you're in the US, but he's in Australia, so it's Zed. But I know him as John. My Knees Hurt is here, Brian Landreth. My cousin Doug with the Down and Back with Corn Doug, which is, man, that channel is blowing up. The Sport of Cornhole, look out. Weekly podcasts and live streams. He's getting pro players on. I'm hooked. Joe Hervey, 84, who I've nicknamed Kid Shred. Six String Brian, who I believe likes Les Pauls. Dana, New Jersey. Janice. Thomas Santiago. Yeah, Thomas gets his name sung because, why not? Hey, some guy named Brendan B Squared. I don't know who that is.
I don't know.
BC Rich 581.
Nobody else here.
LPD Pedals. China Mike is in the house. Hey, bro, stayed up late to say a quick hello before bed. Awesome. Eric C. Road Rash 6565. Yo.
I think that might be my buddy. My buddy
Nice.
Jimmy.
I was going to say, new name in the chat here. Welcome.
Yeah.
Please subscribe.
Yeah. Hit those like buttons, subscribe.
Yeah.
I'm just starting up my YouTube channel. I'm not very good at it. So you can subscribe to mine, but there's not a lot of content on there. You'll watch it all.
And I forgot to actually put it in the description. Although there is a link to the Etsy page, folks.
That's
if
good,
you want to buy a cigar box guitar, I'm just saying. Doug says he's here as long as his laptop will let me. Yes, he's having some laptop issues. Talk about launching a YouTube channel. He's getting laptop issues.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's horrible. That's tough. Very tough. Cams up invites out. I know Road Rash from years ago on this on a chat program. We used to listen to a radio show, and the old chat ASL. Where you're from, cams up and invites out. One of those. They're hilarious. So that's great.
Love it.
I was watching CGS's stream, Mike's stream earlier.
Yeah.
I saw you in there when I was getting ready to do this. I was just making sure everything worked. So
I was kind of lurking for the last half hour or so because I was playing and then listening and then playing and then listening, and then I started playing Motorhead, and then I kind of drowned out Mike, unfortunately, because you can't play Motorhead quiet. It doesn't sound right.
No, you can't. No. It's not possible.
Yeah. So if I have to repeat myself or ask you to repeat yourself, you know why, because
that's fine.
Yeah.
It kind of tweaked out a minute ago, and I thought I lost you, I thought you lost me, but it's good now.
Awesome. Yeah, my parents went out for a brief driveway visit to my sister's place to visit the girls and such. So they're like, "We're headed out." I'm like, "I'm turning up."
Sweet. Yeah. My friend Road Rash in the chat asked me if I showed them a picture of the build. I didn't know. Jimmy, I didn't. I did put it on my Instagram when I was, telling people I was going to be here tonight. So it's on there. And I wanted to actually text you because I need you to send me some pictures of it. I didn't take enough pictures when I built it. So,
nice.
It's
the marketing department needs these photos.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. I did make one of those, one of those free web pages, which basically is directing people to my Etsy store. So, but I have a couple of pictures on there. So like, do you want to pay for us to run your page? I'm like, no, it's okay.
Right on. Hey, Driddle, good to see you, man. Oh, hey. And Roxy Raid from Blackjack Guitar Nuts. So that means Laz is in here too somewhere.
I see Jack in here. I don't know if you said hello to Jack yet. Jack the Rabbit.
Jack the Rabbit? Damn, I missed Jack. There's Jack.
Yep. Oh.
How can I fix my pedals to a piece of wood without Velcro? Zip ties? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Zip ties are good. I actually saw a cool hack that but you have to take the back off the pedal, and you take a I don't have a can. You take a soda or beer can, you take the tab off, put a screw through it, and the tab sticks out, and then you can screw it to a piece of wood.
Oh, that's genius.
It's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's just go on YouTube or Google anything, say, how do I do this? The millions of solutions.
And if you do use Velcro, a lot of people, especially with Boss pedals, you always lose the label if the Velcro comes off. Mm-hmm. Put a piece of masking tape on the pedal first, and then you Velcro on that, then you're good to go.
So are you soft side down or soft side up?
I'm looking. Soft side is on the pedal board because my pedal board is actually covered in carpet from the factory.
Yeah. Yep. Soft side for me too. Because then you can always use if to put a pedal on a carpet, it'll stay.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. Yes. And I think I started that too because I kept all my Velcro uniform, and starting it, I was buying and trading a lot of pedals back and forth with Richie. And at that time, his pedal board was literally a chunk of plywood with a carpet sample stapled to it. That was his pedal board for a couple of years. So yeah.
Well, I have scrap pieces of wood that I just put some Velcro on because I don't have as many pedals as Ben. Not many people do, but
I think there's some companies that don't at this point.
I think
inventory issues.
I think Josh Scott JHS has you beat, but that might be it.
Yeah. And that pedal show guys. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Well, Dan, yes. Mick, maybe not though.
Yeah, true.
Because Dan's more the hoarder.
I saw.
Although that reminds me, I do have to get a hold of Josh Scott because I have a couple pedals that he's interested in.
Wow.
Yes, enough. So I mentioned him to him at Winter NAMM 2019.
Yep.
I emailed him. He didn't reply back. I'm all right. I guess he's not interested in. Saw him at Summer NAMM. He went, "Hey, I'm like, yeah, I'm the guy with those pedals."
Yeah, I love watching his stream too. He's got some funny stuff. This is pretty amazing. He's like a savant with that stuff, And
he really doesn't care if he's promoting himself or someone else. And I think really he does more credit to his company by being a straight shooter than just simply.
He's got so many favorite pedals. He's like, and it's not mine. It's like that's okay. So
yeah. I already like it when he's like, yeah, so this is this pedal, which I blatantly ripped off with my blah, blah, blah.
Right. I know. I mean, there's only so many circuits you can do, I mean, that is my training, by the way. I'm a electronic engineer by trade. So, and I work in the semiconductor business. So, I mean, going through engineering school and electronics classes. Yeah. I mean, you can do a lot of things with circuits, but there is a finite possibility.
Exactly.
But there is an infinite possibility of tweaking them.
I like John here says my pedal board is a shopping bag at the moment. I took all the pedals off the board to reorganize, but that was only 2 years ago. Oh
boy. I don't think you can play them through that. I don't know how they would sound. The daisy chain probably wouldn't work.
No, not so much. BC Rich is asking, has anyone heard from Jasco in the last 3 months or so? I touched base with Jasco again. Where did April go? Come to think of it, it might be 2 months ago I last spoke to him. But yes, I caught him right at the end of winter, and he said he's been super busy all winter with boilers because he does the boiler side of things. So I guess,
wow.
And who knows with the New York City area, he's probably working, but quarantined and this and that. So
I think those guys are still out there working because they don't really have to interact with people too much, you know?
Yeah.
And I would think you'd be working more if people are staying home and needing oil and stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Except for the service calls, that might be different.
Right.
You know? That's tough. Someone earlier, Dan, I can't remember his name, asked where the butt cheeks name came from. And I don't know if you know, Ben. I
thought it was a Jay Hannon thing.
It is a Jay Hannon thing. I mean, I've known Jay. I've known Jay since early 2000, probably. I've known Jay for almost 20 years, at least 15, and we worked together at IBM, and I still work there. It's now a different company, but I was an engineer just starting out there, and he was one of the machine operators. Mm-hmm. So him and these two other guys, we had tons of fun. But I mean, that was just so much fun, just goofing around. Can't really goof around anymore. But
are you trying to Mike?
Bye, Mike. But him and this other guy, I don't know why, they just call me Brendan Butt Cheeks. No idea why. And because we're in clean room suits, so it's not like you can see anything anyway. So look at his butt cheek, you know. Anyway, so that it just stuck, and it's been that way. My wife is Mrs. Butt Cheeks. My son's Baby Butt Cheeks.
Right.
Baby Butt Cheeks is going to be 18 next month, so it's not Baby Butt Cheeks anymore. So, but yeah, it's always been that. And then when I started watching Johnny's show, Jay said, "Oh, there's Brendan." He's like, "Butt cheeks." I'm like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he's like, "I think my friend Brendan's in here." He's like, "Is that you, Butt Cheeks?" And you're like, "Yep."
Like, and that was it. It's done. You know, once that happens, and I'm fine with it. You know, hey, I mean, I made some pics. I sent you a pic. I sent you a couple pics. I sent some pics out. It's freaking hilarious.
I have one right here, right now.
Yes, thank you. I was not going to name the company Butt Cheeks Guitars because it's the marketing on that could be a little iffy. So
only due to like the way search algorithms are and stuff like that, right? Like,
that probably wouldn't be good. That would take you to a whole different realm.
Well, that's like BC Rich were saying, like when they renamed the Rich Bitch,
right?
That's only for online, but vocally, if you call them up, you say, "I want to order a bitch," they know exactly what you mean.
Well, yeah, it's not Nevada. It's not that kind, you know? Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that people call me Butt Cheeks in this community anyway. Nobody does anywhere else really.
So we got a few more people joining in. I saw Laz did make it in here. Rick Hefner's here. Bent Tom. And thank you. Bent Tom mentioned my Patreon page, which it is the beginning of the month, folks. So if you'd like to join the Patreon page, great way to support the channel. I do appreciate it. And that stuff, the Patreon does go back into here because I just upgraded for my demos.
Yeah, I saw that. Cool.
Yeah, very nice. There will be a demo out on this on Wednesday. And yes, part of it you can't hear the audio because we test the microphone outside with no windsock, which I'm reviewing it back. You hear, we'll leave it in.
Yeah, I just got this new one, Ben. I don't know if you can see it here. The Blue Yeti.
Oh, nice.
And it's really good. I had this other one, kind of like what you had, little tripod one, little shotgun tripod mic, and that was okay on my phone, but on the PC, it wasn't the same. But
and this honestly is this is my NAM setup now because you can fold it. I can hold it at arm's length.
Oh, there you go.
Basically, any of the NAM interviews that you saw where I wasn't holding the phone, I was using basically the same microphone, and you can hold at waist level even, and it really is good directional. So.
Oh, cool. No, that's good.
Yeah. BB, salut mon ami.
When they see that windsock thing coming at you, they know it's oh my God, what is that? Just talking to it, sir. Just talking to it, you know. So
my problem is I put it down to swap the other windsock back on. Immediately, my cat's like, "Oh, what is that?"
Yeah.
Not yours.
Don't touch that. Don't knock it down.
A bunch of people joining in. Metalhead Hippie. Mr. Bond.
I see Brian Landreth has a question. Am I familiar with Shane Spiel? I saw an interview with him on PJ and the Beard. He's one of the people that I
he wrote the book on it.
He did. He wrote an actual book, and I have the book. And him and this other guy, Del Puckett, who's out in Oregon. Del is actually who I bought my first one from. It's behind me. It's back there. I bought that one, and when I was waiting for him to build it, I started looking up on YouTube, and I'm like, I think I could probably do this. And I built mine. I built my first one, and that's
okay.
So there. Okay.
You're breaking up a bit.
I don't know. Am I back?
Intermittently here.
Probably because I moved.
Oh, you're back now.
Okay, maybe I'll stop moving. So, all right. So yeah, so I built my first one after I ordered my first one, and this was my first one. It's a little punch box cigars, and it's actually fretless, but yes, it does look like I had frets. What I did is I cut some slots in it because I didn't know at the time, what you needed and what the fret wire would stick in. So I cut it really thick, and I took some zip ties and kind of tapped them in, and then filed it flat. And
Nice.
I got a little fan guard from a computer for a sound hole. I'm like, this is so cool. And I got I used just a piece of threaded rod for the nut, and another piece of threaded rod on a piece of wood for the bridge. And it's slide that. Look at the action's like super high. You can fit like the whole finger under there. But honestly, it stays in tune, and it sounds amazing. It's also, this one's got it is electric, and it's got a piezo pickup in it.
Oh, cool.
So if you don't know what that is, it's like a little microphonic piece of metal that you can just stick on anything, and it's reacts with the vibration of the box, not really the string.
Look who showed up. Mr. Hannon showed up.
There he is.
We were talking about the butt cheeks origin story earlier.
I told the butt cheeks story, Jay, and I have you and the other Mike to thank for that. I can't say what we called them because that's not politically correct, so I won't. So, but yeah, we had a lot of good time. And your sister's here.
Hey, there's Amanda. Yes, Sean Zimmerman's here. Oh, we got 53 people here already. Nice.
Yeah.
Quentin James is here. Hey, Pops.
Very cool. But yeah, so it's a cool hobby. I enjoy it. I've been doing it for about 2+ years.
Nice.
And I just finished my build number 56. So
very cool.
It's very addicting,
No doubt.
Yeah.
I see we got Dennis Brio joining us as well. And Chris Post said, nice, really like to be here. I can actually ask questions and get info. Thanks. We can try. I never claim to know everything, but we can try.
And I know less. So,
Quentin James says, hey, kiddo, go clean your room.
Marsman, that's an interesting idea. Out of a child's piano. I've made some weird stuff.
That would be cool, especially if you could still use the piano too, right?
I could show you a couple of weird ones. I'll talk. I didn't pull them out. I don't know why, but talk amongst yourselves. I'll be over here. So pull some of the weird ones out.
Hey, Mikey Newman, Mike Rohde.
Some people have seen these on my Instagram. Some haven't. Let's see. Okay, so everybody knows what this is, right? Yes, it's a shovel. It is a shovel. I mean, and so a lot of people have heard of Justin Johnson.
Yep.
He's like a blues dude. He plays all kinds of weird stuff. I saw him playing one, and I'm like, I want to try to build one. So I did. Has to be a slide because there's no way you can.
No.
And this is even,
Yeah, that's a ridiculous fretboard radius. Otherwise,
oh yeah, yeah. I don't know what radius that is, but action is like 2 inches, not millimeters.
Yeah.
So, but it sounds pretty. It sounds pretty good. And again, slide only. And I also made this one hurts to play, so I don't really play it. It's a pitchfork.
Damn.
It's a one stringer. They call them diddly bows, one stringers. That's really kind of where it started back in I guess the 30s and 40s. That what they did is the some of the kids and other older guys would take a piece of wire either from an old piano or like a broom, stretch it on the side of a barn, and tack it there and like put like a can or a bottle in there and just start playing on the building. and then they just started using, like, they made boxes and other stuff, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, so I said, let me try making a pitchfork, and it's got a little magnetic pickup in here, so it is electric, but it's but yeah, it's not comfortable. You can't put a strap.
No doubt. Yeah.
Pokes the hell out of you.
No doubt.
And the latest weird one I made, I put it on Instagram. You may have seen it. It's a crutch. It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
I got my pickup in there, and I just covered this stuff up. But here's the cool thing, Ben. You'll like this. You could take this and you can make it a lap steel. Put it down. So
brilliant.
So it's pretty neat. Like I said, I like trying to mess around with stuff, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But so what? It's
I love it.
It's a lot of fun. It's really a lot of fun.
I'm seeing a lot of cool comments in here, and I see a bunch more people jumping. Man, we got 60 people watching. There's Mark Dillon in here, George Lackey.
Wow. Yes. Oh yeah, Jay needs one. I want to make a special one for Jay. I don't know what I'm going to do yet.
A 7-string cigar box guitar.
Oh God. I've made some 6 strings. Had some old necks that people would send me or I would get, and I sold one. Those are tough because you can't really brace it the way you would normally. I did bring some show and tell, some wood. Basically, I'm using 1x2s for the neck and the heel. Sure. So I mean, basically, it's this. Underneath the box is here. Yeah. And then, get the fretboard on top and carve out the headstock. But that's really it. With a 6-string, you need so much more support because, it'll just bend.
Now, the question is, do you ever get a cigar box big enough that you could build a double neck?
Yeah, probably. I probably could.
Because that would just be such an obnoxious thing. I'd have to have it.
I could probably put a couple of these together,
right?
And then do it. But there's so many different sizes. I bet you I could cobble something together.
That'd be wild.
There's been some. I saw a dude. He had a double neck. I saw a triple neck.
Wow.
Cigar box guitar, but there's like splitting them up and putting all kinds of weird stuff.
The Steve Vai style, 2 necks one way, one the other way.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, like the heart one he has, right?
I love it.
Or you could do
that with a heart-shaped box of chocolates, maybe, or something. I don't know.
Or you spin it like a ZZ Top one, a fuzzy one.
There we are.
There's so many things you can do. I just like now. The thing I really want to do is learn to play. So that's next on my agenda.
There's that one finite detail to this passion, right?
Yeah, I have all these guitars, I started putting together some 6 strings and some basses from pieces that I've had. You can see some of them behind me. I'll pull them out later if you want, but like just practicing up with electronics and kill switches. I got a couple of Tesi switches. And nice. I put them in there. I did put a Tesi switch, kill switch in a cigar box guitar that I built for John 5. And I met him. I saw him. He played the area a couple of times, and I went to a meet and greet. My sister-in-law got us a meet and greet. Nice. So I was like, all right, I'll go. And in the meantime, I'm like, I wonder if he would like that. So I built him one with a little kill switch in it, and gave it to him. And he thought, because people bring him stuff to sign, and he thought he was going to sign it for me. Like, no, man, it's yours. He goes, that's mine. I'm like, yeah. He's like, cool. And he's like playing it, and like, oh wow. He's like, he calls the rodeo. He's like, put this in the bus. I'm going to go play that later. Like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's cool. It was.
I remember when I received mine from you. I was sick at the time, and it didn't stay in here. It went into the bedroom with me, and that thing sat on my bed next to me for 2 days because I was, kind of bored watching life. Oh, reach over, ding ding. Oh, this is great.
Yeah, the healing properties of the cigar box guitar. That's my next book. So
yes,
yeah. So look for that.
I agree.
Don't look for it.
Also available on Etsy.com.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if there's any other.
So how long have you had the Etsy page for selling them?
Actually, probably started last year. I've only had it for 2019. It started. So yeah.
Was it prior to Summer NAMM?
When's Summer NAMM? Usually July. Yeah, it was. I think it was.
Well, see, the reason I ask is so you're ahead of the curve here because Etsy now owns Reverb, and you just cut out the middleman. I'll just sell my instruments right on Etsy.
Yes. Actually, yeah, that I remember that announcement because everybody with the Etsy store got the announcement. I do remember that. So it was then. Yep.
Nice.
So
there we go. Peter DeBan says the Zen of cigar box guitar.
The Zen of the cigar box guitar.
I love it. Yeah. You can play some excellent droning music on it for your meditative ambient guitar, which I don't know if that guy's still around. There used to be a guy who did the wildest pedal demos, and he played, and that's what it was called, meditative ambient guitar.
Wow.
And he was this old hippie dude, big beard, played barefoot, and he'd get the weirdest pedals, and he's like, yeah, check this out. And I'm like, you cannot watch his review sober, that's for sure.
Almost like a C6 Steve type guy,
Yeah, he made Pink Floyd seem like Perry Como.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was out there.
It is therapeutic, and it's therapeutic building them too, because you have to concentrate, especially when I have to cut fretboards. I was telling Ben off air, I really don't like that, but it's part of it, so you got to do it.
Yeah, I remember you asked, do you want frets? Yep, fine.
I know when I get a fretless order, I'm like, yeah, but the fretted ones are fine. I'm always afraid I'm not gonna file the edges down and someone is gonna bleed out, or cut themselves, and so. But there will be fret sprout, and I don't put any truss rods in there, so there's still 20. You can get anywhere. I've made a 19-inch scale all the way up to I built a 3-string bass for my brother-in-law who's in a blues band.
Cool.
And I didn't use a truss rod, and it's still good. So it depends on the thickness of the wood. For one of those, I'd use an. You
don't necessarily need a truss rod. I heard something crazy that Martin didn't start using truss rods until the 80s.
Jay, I don't know, Jay. He's made some nice looking ones, but I won't buy one. So. Yeah,
I believe there was a photo of Caleb and me at NAMM standing in front of a certain booth going like this that was sent to Jay.
Yeah. I may have seen a couple of YouTube videos with some feedback on that from other people.
I was going to, but their booth was a little too busy for me to be able to ambush someone on their own. It'd be one thing to pull them aside and try to say something, but when they have a crowded booth, I
don't think I would do that. I wouldn't do something out just to be, outwardly obnoxious. But
let's just say I'm glad they at least somewhat resolved that issue before Summer NAMM.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, my pissed off level was 10 times more. And yes, cheers, Bent Tom.
Yeah, I'll still never buy one just because of what he did to Jay.
No,
but
And I've heard of others getting incorrect guitars. Like a guy ordered, it was like a black guitar with a maple fretboard, and he got a rosewood fretboard on a red guitar.
Maybe he's colorblind. I don't know. Maybe he is. But anyway, I mean, I sent a nice, respectful message to him. Said, you should really care more about your customers if you're gonna be a guitar builder for any length of time. So, and that was pretty much it. And not in those words, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Karma will prevail, I think.
Yeah, B Squared's like, they didn't want a lot of friends with that. Yeah, and then didn't they do some video? I didn't even click on it. It was sent to me. They did some video about like the customer matters or something like that. And
that's what I was talking about. There's a couple of those.
They're like, hey, check it out. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, I don't want to watch anymore.
Nope, I'm good.
Hey there, Fruitcake Tony. How's it going?
Hey, Fruitcake Tony. Hey, we may have an unboxing from Fruitcake Tony on tomorrow night's show.
Ooh, cool.
Maybe. We'll see. I haven't seen any mail since Wednesday, so we'll see. Well, other than the one package. It was weird. I got the one package, but I haven't had any like junk mail even all week. It's weird.
Nah, I still get stuff. Not as much. Oh, geez, they're making you do shots already. They want you to be impaired for tomorrow's show.
Yeah.
That's what they try to do. I guess that's good that I don't really drink. I mean, I'm drinking water, so.
Well, the funny part is I was having drinks with Aaron from Albus Band last summer, and he's like, you're not much of a drinker. I was like, no. He's like, I thought you were. Every time I see you, you're drinking. I'm like, I only drink on YouTube.
Yeah. You better up your content level then. So
that or when Mayhem comes over, which I'll be glad once the lockdown's over, we can start hanging out again.
Yeah, it's that's gonna be tough, but I'm hoping it just gets back to semi normal. Yeah. Unbelievable. I shouldn't say it, but I got to go and visit a music store the other day on Friday. Ooh.
So even though we're completely locked down, I pulled up to a music store to steal their Wi-Fi to upload a video, because that's what I do.
There you go.
And I look over and I'm like, hey, that's my buddy Taylor's car. I didn't think anybody would be at the store, but I thought, oh, okay, somebody's in the store processing online orders. So I sent him a text. I'm like, hey, open the door. I got to use the bathroom. So literally, he opens the door and he looks around. He's like, get in here.
Yeah.
In Ontario, if a store is seen that's not supposed to be open, letting a customer in, it's a $5,000 fine.
Holy cow.
So he's like, get in here. He's like, hey, what's up? I'm like, well, I need to use the washroom. And then we started shooting the breeze and stuff. And so he said they're doing curbside pickup again starting Monday, but they have no open date yet. So definitely, folks, support your mom and pops. If they have a website, at least put the order in and they'll fulfill it as soon as they can, because they really need it.
Yeah, they're doing that. There's a couple of music stores locally near me that they've been doing curbside stuff.
Nice.
They don't have open dates, but you can order stuff online or call them and they'll bring it out to you, which is kind of tough. Can I try this guitar? I don't like that. Can you go get me another one? It's, how do you really demo stuff? I guess
we got Mr. David Minstall in the chat here.
Oh, look at that.
See you, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Who has Jay Hannon on as his guest this Thursday evening.
Yes, I will be tuning into that. See if they can embarrass Jay.
Oh, payback time, right?
I might have a few stories, but I won't do it here. So.
Well, see, now this would be the forum, right? See, because now he's stuck in the chat and you've got the microphone.
I do have a lot of stories, but it's funny. No, I actually went to see Jay play 2005. My wife was at a conference in Chicago, and we all went, my son and I, and as Jay knows him, Baby Butt Cheeks. At the time he was like 3. And he was playing Ozfest. It was Ozfest 2005.
Nice.
And so I called him up. I'm like, man, I'm going to be in Chicago. He's like, oh, you got to come see us. I'm like, okay. So I went, met him at the fence. He gave me a badge so I could just walk in. I was like, cool. So I walk in, hanging out with him. Actually hung out because they were sharing a bus with Trivium. So I actually hung out on the Trivium bus And
Nice.
we go in there, they're playing video games. Like, you can't go in the bathroom. There's no crunching in the bathroom. Like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, rule number one.
Tour bus rules. Yeah. So, but we're hanging out. The guys are riding around these little mopeds and little mini bikes around there. All the band guys, and it was cool to get like a backstage view and a second stage view. I met Rob Zombie there because I think he was playing. I don't know if he was playing the first or second stage, but that's the first time I met him. He was cool, and then just a bunch of other just cool people. The music scene is, how it is. I mean, it's amazing, an amazing group of guys, and it was a good experience.
Exactly. Thank you, Milt.
And so, and then Jay's like, "Hey man, can I come to your hotel and take a shower?" I'm like, "Okay," because he's like, "I haven't showered in like 3 days."
Yeah.
Like, all right, there, Jay. So we drove around.
Yeah. Hashtag rockstar life.
Yeah. Yep.
There we go.
John,
Rob Zombie headline second stage with John 5.
Yep. And I didn't even meet John 5 that day. I just met Rob.
Bandyman says, "Where is Brendan? You're in Poughkeepsie?"
I'm in Poughkeepsie, New York. Yeah, it's about an hour and a half north of the city. It's in between Albany, New York, and New York City. So I'm an hour and a half north. I'm not in the epicenter of this coronavirus, but I'm close. So
right, you're still kind of in the splash zone.
Yeah. So anyway, after Jay takes a shower, we're driving around, and he's like, "Hey, I really want to see Soldier Field." Like, all right, so we drive. I don't think it was open, so we're driving around. And we're like, I think we can get in there. So we like kind of hop a fence and we're running around, just inside the where they sell the refreshments and stuff. And we had a lot of good times. It was a lot of fun. Nice. Yeah, Dan, the IBM headquarters is Poughkeepsie. There's still IBM there, which I worked for IBM, and they that's where I met Jay. And they actually changed to this other company, Global Foundries, who I'm working for now, and it's actually going to be sold to another company in 3 years, which is weird. But I've been at the same place for almost 30 years, so it's hopefully I'll be able to retire from there, and then just build cigar box guitars for fun, for
nice.
A living.
Oh, Milt's killing me here because my buddy Milt here makes moonshine himself, and 130p means 130 proof. So,
oh boy,
I'm looking forward to that. The most I've had, I did have some 180 proof. That was when I asked the guy how strong it was. He dipped his pinky in it and lit his pinky on fire.
Oh.
And he's like, and holding a conversation because it's evaporating so fast. He's like, "So yeah, blah 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 blah," and I'm like, "Okay then, well this should be fun."
Yeah, that's that 180 proof. That's you forget your name and don't know where you live.
Well, the problem is after the fourth sip, you realize you didn't need the second.
Yeah.
And it's instantaneous because it absorbs through your esophagus. So before it even hits your stomach, it is literally like, it's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some strong stuff.
Yeah, that's why you do sips. If you do a shot, you'll tip right over backwards.
Yeah.
Oh, it's strawberry too. Nice.
Oh, I left most of my drinking chops I left in college. So I think I did enough in college for a good long time.
Yeah, my cousin Doug, who was standing next to me, I thought, he goes, "Yeah," and he laughed about it. Exactly. And Doug knows, he was standing right there.
Wow. Very cool.
180 is Men in Blackout shine. Yep, pretty much.
That's nuts. That is nuts. So I don't know if anybody has any other questions about, like,
I don't know. I'm seeing a lot. Nick's going, "I got moonshine downstairs," and John's going, "Hello, poison control."
There's probably a lot more of that now that most people are in lockdown. Let me try this. Okay. Yeah. You wake up Tuesday.
Well, I heard about that. It was like kids drinking hand sanitizer because it's like 70% alcohol.
I don't know. That I didn't hear.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put it past them. They do those weird challenges like the Tide Pod challenge, or I guess there's now a challenge on some forum that they're peeing their pants. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. There we go. My cousin says my mouth was numb for 12 hours. Yeah.
Wow.
That's my problem, because before, even if I'm not mentally, drunk, my jaw goes numb. So I sound much drunker than I am. And I'm just like, I can't talk because my jaw's gone numb from the stuff.
Wow. Oh man. I don't know. What's your favorite guitar you're playing right now?
My favorite guitar I'm playing right now.
Yeah, what are you noodling around on?
I was playing my Epiphone Les Paul earlier today, but actually my Strat the last couple of weeks, because I've been running down this new pedal for Lawrence, and my Strat loves it. When I plugged it in, I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. So I've been rocking this Strat so much that I've actually been on Reverb looking for another Strat. That's how you know you're in a rut. When you find something, you're like, ooh, I like this guitar so much, I want a backup. I'm not gigging. I don't need a second Strat.
Well, no one needs a second anything, but you have to have one. Third, fourth,
That's true too. Yes.
I
don't think I've ever gigged with a Strat.
No?
No.
Telly and Wolfgang?
Telly's and Les Pauls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Les Paul's in the first couple bands, or first band, and then Telly's totally in the second, and then a mix. Actually, it was a hodgepodge, because whenever we had a gig on a Friday, every Wednesday, Richie and I would have a phone call. So you're going to be at Telly Country this week? Because if I was in Telly Country, he'd play Les Paul. And I go, no, I'm going to bring my Les Paul. He goes, okay, I'll bring a Strat. And so you get these combinations. Like, I love, one of my favorite photos is he's playing an Ibanez AF75, which is a full hollow body jazz box, and I'm playing a Kramer next to him. Yep. And we're probably playing the Beatles or Tom Petty.
All right.
But why not?
So Absolute Mayhem asked me if I still have my first one, and yeah, I do. I was showing Ben earlier that I built this. The first one I ever built, and the first one I ever bought is behind me. But yeah. So this one's a slide, like I said, and it's the same as what I sent Ben, the GDG. So yeah, I still pull this one out and just noodle around. I can't play to save my life, but it's just fun to mess around with. I mean, eventually I'll get to where I may be okay.
And Dave Nesdall says I need to come on and demo a few new pedals. I agree. I will actually talk to you about that this week, Dave.
Cool. Yeah, I've seen Dave in his Instagram and some other stuff with people asking about pedals, and
yes,
that's cool. That is definitely cool.
That's the unknown resource of Dave Nesdall, in my opinion. Everyone talks guitars and lesser extent amps to Dave, but he knows his pedals too.
He knows a lot about a lot, and it's great I love their shows on Thursday. I love Johnny's shows, your show. I've learned so much just from that, alone.
It's osmosis, I swear.
Yeah. Yep. So Fruitcake Tony asks if I make any fretless. I have made some fretless. I can show you one. The first one I built was fretless.
And he prefers fretless.
Also, who was in the guy? There was a guy in the chat earlier, Road Rash. My friend Jimmy. I just built him a 4-string fretless with a P90 and one of my pickups that I get built for me, and with 3-way switch, and it was cool. But this one I made. This is a cool fretless. You see, it's got a battery. Got a battery for a bridge. So if the action's not too, if it's too high, this is a AA. You can always go down to a AAA. So
I like that. Yeah. That's your action adjustment tool.
Right. And again, I used a piece of threaded rod. I think
I like that.
I may have stolen this from work, so don't say anything. But yeah.
I figured that was a throwback to the Fender thing, because the saddles on my 67 Telly are just pieces of threaded rod.
Yeah.
Piss me off, but
the good thing about that is that the slots are already there.
Exactly.
And you can file them down and make them a little deeper if you need to. So it works that way. But yeah, this one's fretless. I basically just filled in because this was a cut fretboard that I got, and I just filled it in with like wood filler, and
Okay.
just sanded it. So, and also the cool thing about making cigar box guitars is you can screw up and no one would know unless you tell them. So, here's like this cool, like, it's like metal mesh. Oh, that looks really cool. I'm like, yeah, well, I put that on there because I messed up cutting the side.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it looks awesome.
Exactly.
Yes, Tony, Fruitcake Tony, cigar box
Nice.
bakes.
And hello to Electro Omega.
Oh, this thing is a beast. So I made this. This is a base. And this piece of wood, I actually carved this piece of wood into the neck. A guy in Connecticut, his name is Tim Sway. He does also like he builds a lot of instruments out of reclaimed material, and I think his YouTube thing is like New Perspectives Music or something like that. He's done some cool stuff, and I've seen him at a couple of guitar shows. He gave me this wood. It's actually from an old deck, but it's super thick and sturdy, and so I carved it into a nice thick neck. It's heavy as hell, but it was a little bit too wide for a 3-string, so I'm like, oh, let me put 4 strings on that, and I really had to support the bottom of it.
Sure. Because
that thing will just pull apart, especially with bass strings on it. So it's
exactly.
And it's pretty good. I'm not good on the bass, but I did send one to my brother-in-law, and he gigs with it in his blues band. So I guess it's pretty robust,
Mayhem was asking, other than C6 Steve, who is awesome, any other cigar box players that we should look up?
Yeah, there's a guy. His name is Del Puckett. He's on YouTube. He's the first guy that I talked to, and oddly enough, he's also an engineer. He works for Intel out in Oregon, and so we talked about that a lot. But he builds them. He played guitar. He was like a gigging guitarist for like 35 years, and someone handed him a cigar box guitar just to mess around with. He goes, "What is this?" And he's like, "Oh." He's like, "I don't think I'm going to play 6-string ever again." So, I mean, like one of his taglines at the end, he's like, 6 strings is 3 strings too many, But
right.
But he's really a good guy, and I learned a lot from him. But yeah, him, Shane Spiel. There's this other guy, Rob Roble. He makes insane cigar box guitars, like $500 or $600, but they're beautiful. They're works of art. I mean, I'd love to
make great travel guitars.
Yeah. There's a bunch of guys. There's another guy. What's his name? Mike Snowden.
I was just gonna say we have a Daryl B 07.
Okay, yeah, Mike's
name in here. Welcome, my friend. He mentions Red Dog and Mike Snowden.
Yeah. There's a bunch. When I first, thanks Absolute Mayhem for the link to Del Puckett's site. But once you start doing this, it's like a rabbit hole. It's like anything.
Yeah,
you get into.
Nedstall just brought up Will Ray from the Helicasters.
Yep. There's just so many, and
that guy's insane.
It's cool, and they're all cool. I mean, I've emailed a lot of these guys, thinking I'd never hear from them. They're like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "I have a question about this." "Oh, yeah, you do this," and I'm like, "Okay." Everybody's very nice, and I've found that out in the YouTube community mostly. And definitely in the guitar community, everybody's just super helpful super nice,
Yeah, for every asshole, there's 10 awesome people.
Right, and that's great,
more.
Yeah,
I'm being generous there.
We've
generous all the assholes. That is,
we've all dealt with that. And we'll continue to. But it's nice to know that there's other people that will actually help.
Hey, there's Randy Crooks. Good to see you. Randy and I had a nice video chat yesterday. He's talking about starting up doing some YouTube stuff himself. He had some questions. He says, "Can I pick your brain?" I said, "Of course." It's all about paying it forward. Johnny Bean helped me, so I pay it forward like anyone else.
Cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, because it's sunny tomorrow. I think I might be sitting out on the deck with the cigar box guitar.
There you go. Yeah, that one it's kind of cool because you can play it acoustically. It sounds all right.
Yeah, and the thing it's so light. You know, and that's what I was thinking, like travel guitar, even if I was out backpacking or something, you could take it along because it doesn't weigh anything.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the first amp I bought was this little Roland Microcube, but I like that thing. It's pretty cool.
Sure.
And I bought a little orange Micro Terror, which is like that big. But that thing,
yeah, I got one of those around here somewhere.
I can't turn it past like one, or my wife yells at me, you know, because I'm in the basement. She'll be in the bedroom 2 floors up. Turn that down, you know. So it's pretty loud, but a lot of fun.
Daryl says I mess around with cigar box guitars, built a few himself. Awesome.
Cool. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I always say you got to try something new. You know, you're never gonna know.
And this is the time to do it.
Right.
During this quarantine time, I've been watching a lot of catch up on a lot of Joe Rogan stuff, and he's been doing a lot of new podcasts still, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But you know, he keeps reiterating, like, if you're stuck at home and you're not working that job you absolutely hate but don't necessarily need, this is the time to look. Absolutely. Is there something you can find that, you know, like say, it may not be a career right off the bat, but it could start as a hobby and turn into a career.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Joe Rogan. I love a lot of his guests. He does a good job. He really does. He's one of the few that I can actually watch an entire 2 or 3 hour show and it just zips by, you know.
Yep.
He has really good guests.
Mm-hmm. And he plays the average man very well. He asks the same questions that we would, like great follow-up question. I think that's the key. You know, especially when he has these history or science guys on. He's like, yeah, but I'm an idiot. What does this really mean? You know, like, yeah, thank you.
He's a smart dude too. And
Jay asked him, I turned sleeping into a career. When does Jay get to sleep? He's got 2 youngins at home.
Oh, he sleeps. Dude can sleep on a dime. But yeah, I got you beat though. I have napping beat. So I don't know. We could have a competition. How do you have a competition? Although all sports is over, so people would probably watch it, you know. Right now, there's really no sports. I was flipping through the channels the other day, and I swear last night there was a marble racing thing. I was like, what? They're racing marbles? People are watching this? Okay, I guess.
PC Rich says, is stalking C-list celebrities a career? Well, I hope so, because I've been known to do it on occasion.
It is. What do you consider C-list?
Yeah.
I don't know what C-list, you know. That's funny.
Yeah. Actually, and there's Johnny Bean, the man himself. Good to see you, Johnny. Another channel that I came across and been watching a lot is Richard Marks has been posting a lot of basically what we're doing right here, hangout videos.
Okay.
That he's been doing at least 1 or 2 a week, it seems. And he's had like Olivia Newton-John, Paul Stanley. I watched he had the actor Steven Weber on the other day. That was great. And they're kind of, you know, they're the same as us. Like, well, I'm not working. You know, what's up with you? Oh, you know, I painted the bedroom the other day. Oh, cool. Right on.
He's had a long career too. My wife and I went to see him years ago. I mean, and Jay would know where it was, the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, which is a big venue in Poughkeepsie. And she loved his music, so we went and saw him. And I mean, he's a talented guy. He's been around. He's been involved in a lot of stuff.
Yep.
I don't know, did he date the guitarist from Vixen? I think he did.
That sounds familiar.
Either the guitarist or the bassist from Vixen. Because I still love all the 80s hair music, and you know, I watch all those videos and it just brings back memories.
Yeah. Vance Hicks says, wait, you say youngins in Canada? I spent just enough time in the South that I use the term youngins. Yeah.
Youngins.
Yeah. And BC Rich. Yeah. Another one. John Fogerty has been releasing videos with his family playing. Yep.
I like too what Jason McNamara did with those, you know, the famous, the one he did with Brian May.
Yeah.
All those guys, Cameron Cooper, he had like, I think Alex Skolnick was in it. There was a bunch of people. That was great. That
was cool. Yes.
And actually, speaking of Alex Skolnick, he did a Rush thing. He did a Free Will, I think, with a bunch of guys.
Oh, nice.
With Benanti, I think, on drums, and and a couple other guys, and I mean I'm a huge Rush fan. I don't know if
Ben
I've said
Coombs says Richard Marx is the nicest guy I ever ran sound for.
Cool.
Very
seems like he would be.
And it's funny because he's got a bit of a potty mouth on him, which is kind of funny because you always think, like you would think the soft rocker guys would be nicer than the hard rock guy. Like you expect Metallica curses up a storm, but Richard Marx, super nice guy, type of thing. But no, and you really don't want to cross him on Twitter. That's all I'm saying on that. You do not want to cross Richard Marx on Twitter.
The nice guys are the worst with the worst mouth. Remember?
He will call you out, and he doesn't care if you're a celebrity or it could just be one of us. You're a goof. Really? I did this and this and this. Have you?
Well, you know who Bob Saget is, right? Like from Full House. That guy seems like the nicest, like apple pie. He's the worst. He's the rudest. One of the rudest. Most vile comedians I've ever heard.
Yeah. To say his set is blue is an understatement.
Oh. It's brutal.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's the good thing. That's how you know they're a great actor, great in the public eye.
Exactly. As opposed to just being yourself in any given role or anything like that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So cool. I don't know.
There was an Archer episode where Kenny Loggins turned out to be a Pulp Fiction-esque thug. Nice. Kenny Loggins did an episode.
Cool.
Jason McNamara is editing the new video now. I sent him the final mix a few hours ago. Awesome, Jay.
Can't wait to see that. Yeah, Jay did the engineering for the other one. It was amazing. Amazing the way you put that together.
Jay's been a steady little worker over the last year or so, I'd say it seems, including the new Gizmachi album coming.
He doesn't like to toot his own horn. He's very humble. Jay's one of the nicest,
well, we'll do it. Yeah.
One of the nicest guys you ever want to meet. But
that's the truth.
Talented guy, and I keep bugging him like, dude, just send me a new song, will you? I know the album's not out. You just send me a new song. but no, I'll wait. So,
yes, and he did the mix on the Nerd Halen Christmas song too.
Yep. Yeah, very talented guy. Very talented. I think he should bring the dreadlocks back, though. I don't know if you knew him then, Ben.
I did not, but I've seen the photos.
Yeah, it was a good stage.
Everyone, see, one of the benefits of being friends with Jeannie on social media is every once in a while on a Throwback Thursday, I figured, Jay fucked up something at home because Throwback Thursday comes out and then there's an embarrassing photo.
Yeah, I went to his wedding. I went to him and Jeannie's wedding. My wife and I went, and it was local here, Poughkeepsie actually, and that was a good time. Because he'll shoo me in the ass. Okay, Jay. Look forward to that. I think. Thanks, buddy. But yeah, no, that was a good time. Great, Jeannie's.
Yeah, and John saying Jason's live stream with Nerd Halen was hilarious. Yes, that was a great show.
Yeah. Amazing.
Shout out to Jeff Page wearing his House of Guitars shirt.
Cool.
Yes, he's from the Rochester area. That's where he grew up. I got to meet all those guys last year at NAMM, fortunately. So
my Canucks with guitars shirt's in the wash, or I would have worn it. But I have the zebra shirt on. So
nice. I'm rocking some merch myself.
Okay.
Just saying.
Yeah, actually, the guy from Zebra. Why can't I ever remember his name? Randy Jackson. He does I think a Facebook thing. He goes live every week, and he plays like acoustic, and he'll play some Zebra stuff and some other stuff, and he's an amazing guitarist too. I've seen them live a bunch of times.
Nice.
He's a good guy.
Gargut says, and shout out to AJ there. He says it's his birthday at midnight, so I'm going to do a birthday shot on his behalf now before I forget, because at midnight I might not be around to do that shot. Woo. I call Victor the winner on that. Yeah, Victor had some great lines. Like Larry Mitchell on Facebook. Yep. Larry goes live on Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday.
Yep. Yeah, he's an amazing guitarist too. It's just I honestly have to say I didn't hear about him until Jay brought him up, or it was in this community, and it was like, wow, how did I not see this guy? Because it's just amazing.
I was aware of him back in the day, but it was passing interest, probably. I'd say. And then I remember people talking about him, and then one of the times Larry was hanging out at Dave's house. One of the first times he came on Johnny's show a couple of years ago, and I went, I know that guy.
Yeah.
And then I reached out to him a couple of years ago, and I said, hey, would you be, I'm a friend of Dave's, would you come on my show sometime? I think I had 300 or 400 subscribers at the time, and he's like, sure. And it was great. Yes, Robot Master, a drop of the shine. Yes, and the worst part about that last shot of shine was I took a nice sip, but my mustache filled up with moonshine. So I got a full second shot of saturation here. Tell the story about the Anthrax show and the order of bounces that Charlie's drumstick took.
I don't remember that story, Jay. That one I don't remember. Crap.
Well, it must have been a good time.
You'll have, yeah, it was a very good time. You'll have to tell that on Dave's show on Thursday because I don't remember it. So,
there's a question for us from the chat for Thursday.
Yeah, there you go. Yes.
Can you tell a butt cheek story, Jay?
I don't do anything story worthy. I don't think, But,
I have that problem with my mustache too.
You don't have a mustache. See? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we don't know with this quarantine business, but you notice how everybody wants all the barbershops and hairdressers to open up right away? Yeah. I've
seen a couple of memes where me driving the girlfriend or wife to the salon, and it's like the guy from Harry and the Hendersons in the back seat.
Yeah,
it's like Bigfoot. I don't know. I do have a story of. I know he's talking about Anthrax show is probably at the Chance, which is a local place where a lot of bands play, where Jay's played, where I saw John 5 and Zebra, and
nice.
I saw Megadeth there when I was probably about 15 years ago or so, and I'm in the mosh pit at 39 years old. I'm in the mosh pit, right? Don't ask me why. So,
been there.
Yeah, and actually, I went with a guy that Jason knows. We'll just call him the Berserker because we used to work with him. He was insane. His kid was a nut. So we're there. He's in flip flops eating a hot dog, and we're in the mosh pit. And I just lift my legs up, and I didn't go anywhere because it was so packed like that.
Yeah.
But oh my god, it was insane. It was a great
show. First of all, who the hell is crazy enough to wear flip flops in a mosh pit?
This guy, Jason knows what I'm talking about. This guy was insane. So we were afraid of him at the job. So
I went into a couple of pits around at that age, and afterwards, I remember getting out and going, "Oh, I'm going to pay for that tomorrow." And my fiance at the time just standing there shaking her head like, "You're a moron," and I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah, I don't. Sometimes you can't not do it.
Yeah.
But then you think about it later.
No, I think the worst was, and I still am glad I didn't do it, was the band I was playing in shortly thereafter. We're very much a Godsmack style band. So we always had a circle pit going. We had a few songs just specifically to drive the pit. Like the set shit, if you have a good pit, the set list changes all of a sudden. Okay, we're doing this block. And it was going crazy. And we had like 50, 60 kids pressing up against the stage. And I thought, you know what? I might end the song with a stage dive, while playing a chord, and I'll, land back first. And I'm like, I'm wireless. So I thought I could do this. And I'm playing the song thinking I could do this. And I'm thinking, no, because with my luck, I'd be Moses parting the sea, and I'm going to do a back plant off a stage and probably bust my back. So I'm like, nope, I won't.
All right. Now, okay. So thanks, Jay. Now I remember where that mark on my head was from. I was a little. I might have had a few that night. So yeah. Charlie threw a stick into the crowd, and it hit me in the head and landed in between Jeannie's boobs. But she got to keep it. I didn't get to keep it. So I do remember that now. But Jesus. Yeah, some good times. Some good times.
Yeah, you can't make that shit up.
No, you can't. You can't. But yeah, it was a good catch too. Jeannie did it without her hands. How do you beat that?
Yeah, guys can't do that.
No. What's the matter? Joe Hervey needs help. What's up, buddy?
Joe has been researching. I believe that is Joe. Is this still this guitar? He's looking at a Jackson JS32. He needs some advice on if he should pick it up. I helped him the best I could. They seem to be pretty good, other than the Floyd Rose, in my opinion. But I would say, yeah, that if it has a good setup, it'll probably work okay. But that's what I would do: is get the guitar, and then as soon as you can, literally tomorrow, start saving money for a new Floyd. And then you're looking, it's fine after that.
Or send it to Dave and have him put one on.
Well, there's that. Well, you see, Joe is in Long Island as well.
Well, there you go, Joe. Now you have a path.
Yeah.
So
he says I'm a sick guy.
We all are a little bit.
Yeah.
You have to be.
Yeah, we wouldn't be hanging out here if you weren't a little off center.
Yeah. I would say my level's half a bubble off. So it's true.
Yeah. There's Mr. Mark Taft. Good
Hello,
to see
Mark.
you. Hopefully get together in a couple of weeks with Mark. He wants to come over here and go through all my gear and give it a good cleaning. I was like, good, because I don't.
Are you supposed to clean that stuff? I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'd hand him a guitar and he'd be like, when was the last time you cleaned this? No, that would be when he's taking my guitars out of their cases to put on the rack before show. And he's like, when was the last time you cleaned this? And I'm like, I don't know. When was the last time you cleaned it?
Yeah. You're supposed to clean these?
Yeah.
How do they get all relic and goo on the neck? And, right?
Yeah, that was, I used to play a guitar that had just a whitewash paint finish. So, if you rubbed a coin on it, it would leave a mark. An old Axel Badwater, which is like their Les Paul. And it was actually my girlfriend's guitar, but love the sound of it. And the problem was my belt buckle would just gouge the back. There was no little worming. So I put like 3 layers of duct tape on the back of the guitar in this patch where my belt buckle always was. And she's like, why'd you put tape on the back of my guitar? And I pulled it back and I said, do you want it to relic all the way through? Because there was a couple pieces where it was like really thick, like almost like a nail had been ripped out. Oh, I was like, yeah.
New sound hole. So.
Exactly. And the worst part was once I wore through one piece of duct tape, I just put another piece of tape over that piece.
That's funny. Hi, Dwight.
Here we go. Yeah, Mark's like, yep, a lot of cleaning up to do with all that equipment. Yep.
I can imagine that. That's a tough job being a roadie,
Yeah, and Mark's great at it. He treats my gear like you could have a Harley Benton on stage and he'll treat it like it's an R9, which is odd. Like he treats my gear better than I treat it. So,
well, that's all right. At least someone's treating it nice.
Yeah, exactly. Not that I treat it bad, but yeah.
Right. Hey, Steve Carmichael.
Steve Carmichael.
I always wanted the chance to do that. Now I have. Now I've done it. Thanks, Ben. Making part of my bucket list come true.
There we go. He's looking at a Jackson JS32T. There we are, folks. So everyone just tell Joe to buy it. And then he has to buy it.
Just buy it, Joe. Joe, just buy it. Come on.
Just buy it. If you have a problem, we'll have the Guitar Whisperer take a look at it.
There's plenty of resources here. It'll get up and running for you, buddy.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
Exactly.
I want to ask Amanda if she's made any more pretzels lately, because her posts on Instagram, she's always showing some good food that she's making.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, can you send that to the U.S.? What's the customs on that? Probably won't taste as good, but,
Randy Crook says the more DNA on a guitar makes it sound more like you.
Okay. Just don't use it in a crime. So that's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
Very cool.
There we go. Veiny Man says, Joe, buy it now.
Yeah, you're going to have to buy it now, Joe.
Yep.
There's no, if you don't have it on the next show that we see you in the chat, then there's going to be trouble. I think.
Exactly. Or, like JP Page just said, or like Phil McKnight says, of course you should buy that. Excuse me. Yeah.
Or they'll get it sent to them. Here, try this out.
Yep.
That's my goal too. I want to get big enough and have a YouTube channel big enough and where people send you stuff. Just like, here, try this out. Like, cool.
Nice. I'm not going to lie. I'm just at that point where there is a handful of people I deal with. Shout out Outlaw Effects, because those guys they stepped up when I had 200 followers.
That's
but
cool.
because they do an affordable line of pedals. The company's based in Canada, Chinese made pedals, and they were shocked. We were talking to them at a show, and they were like, "Wait, you gig with our pedals?" Like, yeah. They're like, "But they're not electroharmonics. They're not Earthquaker." And I was like, "No." But meanwhile, like literally, we're using their tuners and a looper. But even now, I've just looked down. I have their phaser on my board still because I like their phaser. And it'll be there until I grab another phaser, what have you. Yeah. But since that time, it got to the point where this year at NAMM, I walk into their booth and they're like, "Ben, we haven't sent you anything in a while."
Okay.
Like, okay.
Yeah. Here's my address if you forgot,
So literally, yeah, they say go over to the pedal board, pick out a couple items. So and the last one was out. I finally put that out on Friday, that ABY pedal. So
that's cool. Yeah. I saw
which that. They said, I said, "Yeah, send me the ABY pedal." And they're like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." Like, really? Like, you're going to make a video on that? I said, "Has anybody done a video on it?" No. Perfect.
There you go.
Yeah. Now, granted, it was hard to make more than 30 seconds of a video. Oh, here's one amp. Click. Oh, there's the other amp.
But you can switch back. Look. So
pretty much, yeah. It was a lot of talking. So, which is probably why I posted at 6 a.m. and when I looked at it 3 hours later, it had 14 thumbs up and 7 down.
Jeez. I hope you don't have any thumbs down today. I can't see. So
I had one before the show started, but meh.
It's all right. So it's going to be someone that doesn't like something.
Yeah, exactly.
But we were talking.
Mark Dillon said he's got 3 Outlaw Effects. Nice.
Yeah, we were talking before we went live about pedals, and I was telling Ben I didn't have any pedals probably a year ago, and now I have, I think 10 or 12, and it's just, they're so fun, they really are. And I'm not a pedal nerd or pedal snob.
Well, really, if you spent $20, let's say $40 shipping and everything, $40. If you get 3 hours of enjoyment out of it, it's the cost of you and the wife at the movies just for the tickets, right?
Well, I bought that. My favorite pedal right now is the Super Fuzz, the Behringer Super Fuzz SF300. It was $29 and free shipping from Reverb, or not Reverb, from Sweetwater, I think. Actually, it's brand new. Yeah, wasn't even used, and I love that thing. It's amazing. So it doesn't, you got to try these things. You guys know it's amazing. And I figure what's a cigar box guitar going to sound like through it, and it sounds great.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing I went through. Like I went through my whole pedal board. What does the cigar box sound with a phaser on it? Well, we're about to find out.
Yep. Yeah. So 50 watching, 33 thumbs, and 1 greasy weasel. Nice. That's hilarious.
Mayhem, you win the chat.
The 1.5 setting on the Super Fuzz. I tried the what's there. I didn't know there was a 1.5 setting. There's a 1, 2, and 3. So
it's like you got to wedge it like halfway in between, like a Fender pickup selector on a Strat.
I guess I'll be playing with that later. So
your homework for this evening is to discover the 1.5 setting.
Yeah, I want to start doing some of those some reviews of those pedals demos with the cigar box, but I want to be a little bit more proficient on it, so I don't get
I like that idea too. Like if you start the channel, you do obviously cigar box guitar demos of whatever product, which you can do very much like the way Wildwood does. Like literally, this is build number 56. Like they have Greg Koch do the individual guitar, but then if you do pedal demos and do them just strictly through cigar box guitars.
Yeah. And I have done a couple where I had them on Instagram, and I've done some on YouTube where this is build 46. And just play a couple of chords that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily with the way I tune them, most of the ones I sent are tuned open G, which is GDG. I think that's what I sent you. You can tune them down to EBE or DAD. It's a 1-5-1, kind of. So you know, a fifth and then the other note. And there you can do chords with one finger. So, they have one finger songs. It's just, it's pretty good. So yeah, it's, you can't screw them up too bad.
Right.
But, I've had to do a few different takes because I've screwed it up that bad. So, but it's okay.
I see we got Grumpy Mike Guitar made it in, Edwin Crane, Winston McKay, and Winston says, I'm hearing a lot of small pedal builders are going under.
Oh,
I
really?
have not heard that myself.
Me neither.
But I do know it's been hard to get parts in. That I do know. Also, Gargut said, did that ABY pedal have a polarity switch? No, it did not. But somebody had left a comment about that, and it might have been JP Page too, I'm thinking, for some reason. Because it was a powered pedal, it's buffered, so you don't have to worry about that. It automatically must figure it out. Because I just plugged it in and it worked. So
cool.
That's what I was concerned about too. Because with an AB, it's not too big a deal, but it's when you split it as a Y pedal, that's where you can run into polarity issues. But seemed to work okay.
What do you do with the pedals that you don't like? Do you just keep them, or do you trade them in? Or
if I don't bond with a pedal, yeah, usually I'll do a demo on it. I want to keep it for a minimum 90 days afterwards, because there's nothing worse than I sell a pedal today and then tomorrow you comment, hey, is there an internal trim switch or something? I'm like, crap, I need the pedal,
Or did you do this, Ben? Oh man, I didn't turn it over.
Yeah, a couple of times, and literally I've contacted people, especially if I have to get rid of the pedal. Just say I'll go, Brendan, open it up. Does it have this trim pot? Blah blah. You're like, yeah, dude. Okay. Oh yeah, blah blah blah. But yeah,
I might need that back for a minute.
I generally, I keep everything for at least 90 days afterwards. I've been pretty lucky in that as far as gear that's been sent to me, I haven't had a dud sent, because like with Outlaw, they allow me to pick what pedals I want to demo. They've only asked me to do one specifically, and that was a rush job, which it was funny because they sent me an email at 3 p.m. Can you do a demo on our combination tuner pedal that's also a power supply? Really cool pedal. I said, yeah. I said, yep, no problem. I didn't have the pedal. I thought, okay, Ardens Music, they carry it. They have one. I'll jump in. And all of a sudden I went, wait a minute. Richie has that pedal on his pedal board. So I texted him. He was just getting off work. I'm like, hey, bud, you got any plans after work? He's like, no, what's up? I'm like, can you shoot a demo on this? He's like, sure. So literally the company asked me at 3 p.m. I think we had the video posted 8 p.m. that night. And they're like, okay, we're hoping within a month, not 5 hours.
Hey, man, you ask, it's done.
Yeah, so there's minimal production value with my videos, folks. So
that's a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Very quick.
And they remembered it.
Yeah, so. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Very cool.
All right. Let's see. Any other questions in here? Dave was awesome on Pete. Oh, yeah. Pete Thorne show today was crazy. SD's like made bank and super chats. Yeah, that €100 super chat was pretty good. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, there was one show that I watched that you had. I forget who was on it. I don't know if it was RJ. It might have been RJ. People kept, I think it was before they knew NAMM was canceled. And it was just like, bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, last month, actually, when Ryan Burke was on, that was a crazy one. That and the next night with Pete Thorne, because I'm pretty sure that was half my donations for the month was in those 2 nights. And it was funny because off air, Ryan Burke asked me, he was like, how many people do you expect to tune in? I was like, I don't know, 50, 60. And he's like, no way. Because he knows what he has for a subscriber count and what he gets on a live stream. I'm like, yeah, but you don't do one consistently every week with guests. But I said, trust me. He's like, I don't think so. Okay. And then it started. And by the time we got off air, he goes, what the hell was that? I said, what? He goes, we had like 70 people watching. You made $100. I'm like, I don't know, dude.
I have a bunch of crazy Jay stories, but I don't know if I should tell him. Jay,
Jay did say earlier, nothing's off limits.
Well, he's told this story before, or actually we just talked about it on the phone, but I was going to tell him about the one, Jay, that you said with you and Mike and some wafers that might have been broken and stuck under the floor. I don't know if I should tell that one or not. Give me a yes or no on that. And Yeah, we'll go with that.
Grumpy Mike.
Hey, there you go.
Nobody mentioned super chats.
Sweet.
Just for that, even though he didn't ask me to do a shot, I'm going to do a shot. Or I should say a sip, because you can't do a full shot of this shit.
No. Then I'll be doing the show by myself for the rest of the night.
Thank everybody for coming out tonight.
Where's Ben? I don't know.
I think that was my birthday show last year, which we are doing again this year. All I know is we went like 4 hours on air, and then we went like another 3 or 4 hours off air after that. And next thing you know, it's 3 a.m. here, and I'm talking with Henning Pauly, who's drinking his morning coffee. So you had a good birthday? And I'm like, this is surreal. This is really surreal right now.
Wow. Ooh, you got another $5 shots, man.
Damn.
Guess that's worth it.
I think this money will be going towards the next jar of moonshine.
Or a liver.
Or a liver. And Jay says, go for
it. All right. So we at IBM, and now we make computer chips for pretty much everything electronic, like phones, TVs, radios, anything that has power in it or whatever. If you have an iPhone, we probably have 8 chips that we made in it. And so one time we're working, and we carry around these wafers in these Teflon carriers. We call them boats, and they hold 25. So they're probably about $5,000 a piece when they're all done, So yeah, it's a lot. So we're walking, I guess, and you carry them around. You're supposed to be secure in a box, but sometimes people just carry them around. And this one guy that we work with, he dropped a whole box of a whole boat of them. So 25, and it kind of sounds like I don't even know what it would sound like. It's just just tinkle tinkle tinkle, and you hear this and you're like, uh-oh. And nobody was really there. It was him and Jay. I may have been somewhere in the area, but it was him and Jay. And he's like, oh crap, we're gonna get fired, man. We gotta get rid of this. So they had a raised floor, so they pick up floor tiles, stuff them under there, put the floor back. And so then one of the managers is like, hey, we're short, we're missing a job, here and have you guys seen it? No. So and they never fessed up to it, but it was so Jay hid probably about $10,000 or $20,000 worth of stuff under a raised floor, and it was never found. But yeah, it's
well, there was no comment on Will Varella's donation, but I see take that, Ben, as his next comment. So I assume. Okay. We're an hour in. I figure we'll go another. How are you for time, Brendan?
I'm good. I have tomorrow off, so whatever. I leave that up to you.
Fuck it. We'll take it to the top of the hour.
Alrighty.
Ooh. Yeah.
Could do that. But yeah, so and I don't know the full story. Jay does. Jay knows better, but that's about
Well, he mentioned something about he didn't want to go to jail, so I don't think he's going to elaborate anymore.
No.
John's like, watch the mustache. Yes, I've been purposely being very careful with my sips.
I don't think Jay would have gone to jail for that, but
no. Jay would have gone to jail for other things, but not that.
I'm not going to tell those stories. I'll let him tell those.
Yes.
But yeah.
All I know is I've had a few good off-air chats with Jay over the last couple of years. Thank you, Johnny Bean, for having me on anytime, because those off-air chats are always fun.
Yeah. It was a fun place when Jay was there working, and it's not as fun now. There's still some fun aspects, but it's not as fun as when those guys were there years ago. I do miss that, but hey, I guess we all have to grow up sometime. I'll let you know when I do, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. But
I don't know. I remember saying to my bass player Larry once, I said, when I grow up, I want to be you, and he said, you can't do both.
It's a good answer. What's the tilt angle for Ben before the plug pulls?
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah. He's lilting. He's lilting, folks.
30 degrees. Yeah. Your chair have arms on it?
I only had one glass of wine. I don't understand.
Does that chair have arms on it?
Yes, it does.
Right. There you go. Good.
Yeah, worst case, I can strap myself in.
Yeah. So you won't fall over. You won't be going over.
No, I need one of those gaming chairs, and I can put the 5-point race harness on it, and I'll just clamp myself in. And let's do this, folks.
Yeah, no, and Jay's correct. He did not. He was just an accessory. He didn't break them, and he didn't really hide them. He may have helped lift the tile, but. No.
And I know what you talk about with those false floors, because I used to run network cable and stuff at military buildings, and they all have the false floors for that reason.
Yep. But yes, on that. No, Jay was just more of a aiding and abetting. So it's all good. You're good, Jay. I think the statute of limitations is way past. Plus, we don't even make those. We don't even make those that size wafer anymore, and none of the people that were there when you were there even work there anymore. It's all good, buddy.
Sean says to my sister, "We thank Ben for giving us somewhere for us guitar and gear hermits to hang out and talk to like-minded others." Exactly. Yes, I hear that so often. At least I'll say to the fine folks that tune in, once a month I get an email. Do you mind if I show you my new guitar? I don't have anybody around that I can talk about this stuff with. You know, like family doesn't care. They don't have any friends that play. And I'm like, yeah. You know, if I'm the guy, if nothing else, for you to say, hey, will you check it? I'm like, sure, of course. And I'll take a look at it and love, you know, who doesn't like looking at gear?
Yeah, seriously.
And I saw somebody's playing a Hagstrom. Is that Robot Master Switch? Yes. Nice. First band I was in, the other guitar player played a Hagstrom. Super sweet.
Hugh Caldwell was asking if it's possible to make a resonator cigar. Yes, it is. I've seen a couple of guys do it. I have not made one. I've seen a couple of guys actually use like dog bowls as the resonator.
I was thinking a hubcap.
Yeah, that too. It's pretty cool. I think the guy I mentioned earlier, Del Puckett, made one. I know Shane Spiels made some. But yeah, so it's definitely possible.
Let's see. Will Varela says, I'm trying to buy a Moore pitch box pedal. Who has one for sale that I don't have to pay $50 in shipping? Does anybody have a Moore pitch box pedal they want to get rid of? To Mr. Will Varela. If you do, if you have Will's contact info, contact Will. If not, contact me because I do have Will's contact info. And Vance says, Ben, I would like to see a vid about your collection. I'm a nerd enough to want to hear the stories on them, even if there is not a story. I just bought the damn thing. One of the playlists on my channel is actually called My Gear. Fair amount of the gear on that playlist isn't around anymore, but a lot of it is, and there is a bit of a story behind each piece as well. But yeah, I think for me to go through all my gear, that's a full day video. So
yeah, you have a lot of gear.
I have a lot of gear. Yes.
I have more than I thought, but I don't have as much as you. So
I'm just a hoarder. That's my problem.
That's a good thing to hoard, you know?
Yes.
There's worse things.
Cowtown Custom says, hey, Ben, you need to... Oh, it skipped ahead here. Now I feel like Pete Thorne. He said that 3 times. It skipped ahead as he starts reading it. You need to go to Gatlinburg, Tennessee someday. Go from shop to shop, getting free shine samples. I do need to do that. And I need my cousin Doug to come with me so he can drive. You heard that, Doug. Let's see here. Yes, John says perhaps some This Guitar Right Here videos. I've done, I think, 2 or 3 of those so far. I should do some more. Definitely, yeah.
Go get your shine box.
What's the best quarantine beer? I don't know. I do have a 6-pack of Corona sitting over there.
Oh, boy. I don't think I'd drink that. It was funny that people actually thought people were boycotting that.
That's why really? I bought it out of spite.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you know what? If somebody's going to boycott it, I'll buy it instead of buying something else.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, someone's got to balance it out.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
Saying hey to each other in here. And Doug says it's already on the list to do. Nice.
Yeah. What's the first concert you think you'd want to see coming out of the quarantine?
That's a good question because I've been kind of turned off concerts, to be honest with you, like major concerts. I I went to one major concert where, NHL arena concert once in the last, I don't know how many years, 10, 20 years. And it was so different than my last concert experience going back to the 90s where, like one metal detector to get in the place. I was like, don't like that. Two, I get the not smoking, vaping, but a lot of arenas, at least in Ontario, like even during hockey games, like if you want to go out and have a cigarette between periods, you can't go back in the building. Once you leave, they won't let you back in, which is an anti-smoker thing as far as I'm concerned, or anti-anything else. So,
yeah.
But a lot of them, I told those arena people, fuck you, literally, and I won't go back for minor league hockey. But
no.
Outdoor stuff I like because, sneak in beer and stuff like that too, which I always like. But yeah, as far as an act I would like to see, I'd like to see Joe Walsh in some form. I've never seen Joe Walsh play, and I'd really like to see that.
Yeah, I have never seen him or when he was in the Eagles. I've never seen that. That would be good. I mean, there's a lot. I just hope we get back to some semblance where we can start doing that, relatively soon. Because some of the bands that I would like to see aren't getting any younger.
Yeah.
So,
I think, unfortunately, we're not going to see arena shows until at least next year.
Well, they really said 2021 is when they're going to start again.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to start with arena shows, but who knows?
Top would be another good one, Mark Dillon. I'm going to wait for my comment from my cousin because he saw ZZ Top and he was like 10 feet from the fucking stage and I didn't go. I know.
Yeah, my brother-in-law went and saw them, and
there it is.
They got pictures afterwards. They're all doing the thing.
Nice.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
Although, yes, I think it was the last year we were down at the NASCAR races. I did get to see Leonard Skinner play, which was awesome. Even with non-original members, I don't care. It sounded like Skinner to me. And I ended up, I somehow decided to take a shortcut because my cousin was walking. I forgot beer, which I didn't realize you weren't allowed to have beer anyways because you had to stand on the front stretch of the racetrack right before the race. So, of course, they don't want beer cans or anything, but screw it. I fill every pocket with a can of beer, go to catch up to him, take a shortcut. So I cut through a fence, and next thing you know, I'm backstage staring at Ricky Matlock's Explorer. And I'm like, oh, snap. I'm not supposed to be here. And, I got some photos of the backstage area before security escorted me out, but then they allowed me to hang outside stage for the rest of the show anyways, which was awesome because they still use the wedge monitors. And for me, that's how I like hearing live music is through wedge monitors because that's what I'm used to with the mix. Right. So, I hung out at Gary Rossington's side of the stage and I was set.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. The last two shows I saw before the shutdown were I saw Steel Panther.
Nice.
Which they were freaking amazing. They're fun anyway, but they can play. I mean, Satchel's an amazing guitarist, and I saw John 5, and that was the second time I've seen him, and I was right against the stage. That's an amazing show. If anybody has not seen him, you should definitely catch him live when he comes back. It's just amazing what that guy can do.
Yeah, one of the last ones I went to also was a Canadian band, which I don't know if they ever made it big at all south of the border, was I Mother Earth, 90s rock band. And like you may know them, Brendan, because being in New York, a lot of Canadian bands will tour through New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania type thing. Yeah,
they make that dip.
And it was actually their first concert back with their original lead singer, Edwin. And it was a free concert in the park, which is literally a park right on the water in Peterborough, Ontario, right in the middle of town. Beautiful outdoor venue. And again, no alcohol, obviously no weed or anything. So we're like, okay. And it's all families, with picnic blankets. So I show up with a 6-pack of mini Sunny Delight bottles and a hip flask of vodka. So I take a sip out of each Sunny D, fill it up with vodka and give it a shake. And every time I do it, one of the dads around us would kind of look over and he just kind of, oh, yeah, okay, you got it going on.
Hey, buddy, you got a screwdriver? Well, yes, I do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
Ben Tom says, I know that band. Ben Tom knows every band.
Yeah.
SD designed those I Mother Earth. I'm surprised.
That's cool.
Hugh Caldwell, last concert was Pete Thorne with the Classic Rock Show in Glasgow.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, great Vanzini. John Five's just, I can't say enough good things about it. And he's a decent guy. He's a really down-to-earth guy, as I've talked to him before. It's just very cool, very, very humble, and his fingers are amazing. Just so fast. I mean, it's funny when you hear, interviews with him saying he was influenced by Roy Clark, when watching Hee Haw and stuff.
I get
like
it.
That. And then you look back at some of those videos and like, holy cow, those guys can really play.
Mm-hmm. Hey, my first concert was Roy Clark.
Okay, wow, that's cool.
So, and I think we sat like fourth row, and the only reason I went is because one of my dad's friends canceled, so he had an extra ticket, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll go, and we sat like fourth or fifth row center, because he was involved with the show somehow, some way, whatever. Yeah. And and let's be honest, I'm 15 years old. I'm into AC/DC, Sunset Strip. This is 1989, 90.
Okay.
But I knew enough that Roy Clark could play, and I just sat there, and I went to school that night.
Yeah. I mean, it's you see him play he'll just play like a 12-string, a 6-string, then a banjo, then a violin, or just keep going back and forth. It's like, wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, I remember his 12-string electric was made in Russia. He played a Russian-built 12-string, he would tell the story about touring Russia, and I'm thinking, didn't the Iron Curtain just fall 6 months ago? But he was one of those 5 artists that could tour Soviet Russia in the 80s. He was that big.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and there's so many, like, I know it's been mentioned on your show, on Johnny's show, Dave's show, that YouTube is bringing so many young people. And I mean, you see like Cameron Brown, Cameron Cooper, anybody named Cameron, pretty much can play guitar. And it's you look at these kids, like Josh Jones, is that his name? Joshua Jones, the hair guy.
I met him at NAMM this year.
Yeah, they're just it's cool to see. And it's scary too, because then you just want to throw out your stuff. You just well, I'm done.
Yeah. I saw Josh play. It was funny. I will admit, I'll say it publicly, I did throw Josh under the bus, or I'm about to throw him under the bus a bit. Because he put out a tweet, name an underrated guitarist I should check out. So I put Ronnie Wood. And he says, I know the name. I'll look into him.
Oh, no. Wow.
And I read it, and I chuckled, and I went, so young, because he's like 22, 23 years old. And I was just like, that's funny. Ronnie Wood. I've heard of him. I'll check him out.
There's another guy that I just, found out about maybe a year ago. His name is Christone Fisher Ingram, the Kingfish. Christone Kingfish Ingram. And he's from the South. I think he's only 21.
He is really such a throwback.
Oh my God.
Like,
yeah.
In the throwback in the sense that we're in the age of social media, and he is literally, I don't know how I got here. I just do my thing. He is such a throwback.
Right.
And next thing I know, he's the face of one of the series that Fender released last year. He's on the poster.
Right. Yeah, he's on the poster. He's doing stuff with like Samantha Fish, who's just another blues guitarist that's really good. And it's just amazing to see him play, because he's a bigger guy. I mean, he's probably, I think he's lost some weight, but he was probably pushing 350. And he's a short guy. And you see his fingers flying around, like, oh man, I got a chance as a fat guy. I can do this, But it's it's just amazing to see it. And you can see he's got the soul in him.
Yeah.
Just the playing. It's refreshing and it's amazing to watch.
I'm just looking at some of the comments here. ZD351 says, to be fair, Ronnie Wood is the new guy. Touche.
He's the new guy.
The dog post says Ronnie Wood's overrated.
Oh boy. I don't know.
He's like, see, when Mick Taylor, the only real musician in the Stones, left, they became a bad pop band. Ronnie held those tours together in the 70s. You see, because Keith is totally smacked out on stage in those live shows, and Ronnie's like, well, I guess I'm playing all the lead tonight. Even though Keith didn't play a lot of lead, but he did do some. And
some of those bands definitely stood the test of time. I've never been a huge Stones fan, but I respect what they've done. You know, I mean, I've said this before too. Jay knows I'm a huge Rush fan, and I got to see the R40 tour. I didn't get to see the last show that Neil played, you know, before they retired, and I'm upset about that. But they played my area. I was away. I couldn't go. But and that loss still hurts. This is just, he's an amazing
weird too. Like you watch those Rush, you know, there was a bunch of concert DVDs and documentaries that came out over the last 10 years of their career. Yeah. You know, like the Rock in Rio, and they're playing for, say, 40,000, and they're like, well, we never played a crowd this big. I'm like, how the fuck did you have, like, everybody knows who Rush is. They're a household name since I was a kid.
I know, but they really didn't, you know, play those huge festivals until later in their career. You know, our third.
Yeah, and it was weird. Yeah, because I guess a lot of US stuff, they would open for a bigger band at the larger venues, or they were headlining more of the club. Well, not. I hate to use the term club, but those 1,000-seat club tours.
Yeah, just smaller venues. But then they took off. I just watched a documentary on YouTube when they did 2112 and Moving Pictures. They talked about that. That's amazing. But I saw one of the favorite shows I saw. Actually, Mr. Big opened for them back in I think it was 89 or 90 in Worcester, Mass. And I went to college at University of Hartford in Connecticut. And so we're driving there, and my buddy's got this souped up Z28 Camaro, and I think we were going 160. He pegged it. He pegged the miles per hour, and the RPMs were still going up. And it was insane. But then, you know, we get there, and Mr. Big opens up. I'm like, wow, who's this? You know, and they're amazing. You know, and then Rush comes on. You're like, oh, you know, it's crazy. Yeah, the Presto tour. Crowbar was saying, yeah,
he was there too.
Yeah, he was in Providence.
No, how crazy is that? You find out things like that, you know, like 30 years later, it's like, oh yeah, that guy in the chat, he was at the same show as you.
That was a cool tour because they had these huge blow up rabbits, you know, because Presto was a rabbit coming out of a hat, you know, on the album cover or whatever, or cassette cover, because I think I still have the cassette.
Now, I find something. I'm going to call out my sister here because she says, haha, Ben gave me a Z28.
Oh.
No, I gave Scott the Z28 because my sister doesn't have a driver's license. So I gave it to Scott because, you know, he's a car guy and he knows how to restore cars. So yes, I did give him my 80s Z28, which was given to me by my father.
That's a great car.
To stay in school because I was going to quit school to buy a car, and he's like, "No."
Did you say 1980?
1980. Yep.
Okay. Do they still have T-tops then? My cousin, my buddy had.
This one did not have the T-tops, but
78. Yes. My buddy had a 78 with the T-tops. They leaked like hell, so they weren't great, but they looked cool. You know?
That's why mine didn't, because Dad knew they all leaked, and you know, in the wintertime, heat loss was terrible. Not that those things drove well in the winter at all to begin with, but yeah, by the time it was all said and done in my 20s, that's where all my money went in the 20s, not into music gear, but into car parts. So that thing was about 400 horse when I was done with it.
Did you get the plate number, Amanda? Is the bus that you just threw around her? Poor Amanda. I'm sure she can take it.
Nice. Peter DeBad says Rush built their fan base in the smaller clubs. Saw them in Vancouver as a teen in the very early 80s. See, that's the thing. Like, I always remember them playing big venues because they always had like Max Webster opening for them on tour, or Triumph. The two of them would co-headline tours together. And in Canada, they were all playing stadiums.
Yeah.
Because they could.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, I don't own the Rush first album, you know, and I'm not because I don't like John Rutsey. But it's just, I got into them. My first Rush album was Caress of Steel, which was the third album.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, it's the third album because Neil came on the second album, Caress of Steel. I mean, Fly By Night, sorry. And, but yeah, it's just, to me, Rush is those three. But I know there was a drummer before. But that documentary.
I liked their first album. And it was funny because for the longest time, I'd listened to the first album. And he was a damn good drummer, too. Yeah. And I was like, why the hell did they get rid of this guy? But then when you find out it was actually health issues is why he was let go from the band, because they figured the road would have killed him. So,
well, yeah, he had some health issues, and he he didn't want to go the direction they were going.
Right.
So it was kind of a mutual split. But yeah, it was. I'm really glad it happened.
Yeah.
I don't want to be mean to John. I know, God rest his soul, because I think he passed not too long ago. But it's just, I mean, that took it to a whole new level, because Neil's such an amazing lyricist. They're all just amazing.
Yeah.
All around.
Well, I always say Rush is the band that other musicians listen to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the reason they never got bigger, because they were only listened to by musicians.
Right. The dog pa said Rush was Rutsy's band. He did bring it together, but it's more Alex and Geddy.
Yeah.
I mean, and then Neil.
And I wouldn't say they didn't really get into the poppy stuff until after Moving Pictures. That was the turning point. The last non-heavy keyboard based until like Roll the Bones or something. And it was something like they were in the studio and they're writing out stuff. And Alex said, "Hey, can we get back to doing a guitar-based album?" He's like, and Geddy was like, "Oh, okay." Like it never even dawned on him, because he's just writing all this music. He's like, "Can we do a guitar-based album again?"
Yeah, it's tough, I mean, it's but they have so many good albums, which is fantastic. It's not they had one and then it was crap. I mean, a lot of I'm just like, I guess, a Rush fanboy forever, so I buy everything that they have and I like everything that they have. But
sure,
I didn't like this. I'm not a big Grace Under Pressure fan or Power Windows or whatever. But there's good songs on all those albums. There really is. Maybe not every album has every song's a hit, like Moving Pictures, but
right.
There's always the things that talk to you. The lyrics will talk to you, and there's a lot of quotable stuff and a lot of relatable.
And ironically, at that time, I'm just thinking like in the mid 80s, so I would have been like, I don't know, 10 or 11 years old, music videos coming out. And I always thought Rush and Van Halen, not knowing anything about music at the time, I went, here's two smart bands, because the introduction of the synthesizer and keyboard in the 80s that dominated music, I went, hey, here's two rock bands that saw the light and went, we're going keyboard based, and then of course within 5 years I start playing guitar and going, why did you switch to keyboards? But at that time I was like, hey, they're jumping on board. Maybe Duran needs to get more keyboards.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really.
And when Crane says, I even like Show Don't Tell. I like Show Don't Tell.
Yeah, I do too. It's
a great song.
I still like Roll the Bones. I like the rapping part. People don't, but I mean, in concert they have this big skeleton rapping.
I remember shaking my head the first time. It was like, oh, a new Rush video comes out. I'm watching it, and then it got to the rap part. I'm like, oh dear Lord, this is clearly middle-aged white men rapping.
I know some people cringe. I love it. BV Ninja said Neil Peart was a great song. He was also an amazing author. He had probably 4 or 5 books.
And just for Jay, even though Jay didn't donate to the channel, Jay cracks me up so much each week that he's a shot. I'm going to do a shot.
He did say shot. So the one book I would recommend that you read that Neil wrote is Ghost Rider, and that was the one after that he wrote all over Canada and the U.S. after his wife passed. Because I mean, most people know the story. His daughter passed first, and then his wife basically died of a broken heart. He basically tossed it in. He's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And that was before I forget which album. Before I gotta look. But anyway, he went all around Canada and the US to put like 2,000 miles a day on his motorcycle and just found himself.
I think he actually rode all the way down to the bottom of South America. I think he did that.
He went everywhere. It was just,
and then even after that, I think going forward, every tour, and we're talking multiple tours, there was always a motorcycle on board. So he had the choice. He could ride to the next spot or ride the tour bus.
Right. Yep.
And often than not, he usually rode his bike.
He did. He had to have that bike with him.
Yeah.
So it was therapy for him,
Yeah.
So,
which just means then Alex and Getty get up to absolutely no good on the tour bus.
and Neil was also the type of guy like Limelight, the one lyric, I can't pretend a stranger's a long-awaited friend. He never wanted to meet with people because he didn't want to be insincere and act like he knew you. And I mean, you got to respect that from the guy. So,
here's the question. John's asking, I've never listened to Rush, but obviously know all about them. Was going to check them out, but never got around to it. Should I listen to them chronologically or start with something else? I would agree chronologically.
Chronologically is good.
Because they did progress every album.
They did. Anyway. Like I said, my first one was Caress of Steel, and then I went back. But
I think my first was Moving Pictures.
My favorite album is Moving Pictures. I mean, I have so many, but if I had to pick one Rush album, a studio album, not a live one, it would be Moving Pictures. But yeah, you won't be disappointed. ZD 351. I promise you, you'll find something that you like in any of those albums. Hemispheres is good. Crowbar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Oh no, the dog pod did not like Peart. How come?
I'm sensing that. Yes,
I see that. Okay.
Or worst case, just start with Exit Stage Left. Great live album.
Yeah, so that covers a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. I could talk about Rush for hours. I actually, Michael Smith, the captain's a huge Rush fan too, and I've talked to him about doing a YouTube like chat show about Rush. I was like, yeah, but you have to run it. I could be a co-host. He's like, no, you have to run it. I'll be a co-host. I'm like, all right. So that's so, but it's
I love it.
It's great. I love that kind of stuff. It's just, it made me want to play drums listening to Rush. I think I made some drumsticks out of some dowels and I beat up on my couch, but
it's funny because for those who don't know, because some are newer to the channel, I've recorded one album in my life, like one professional album, and that was recorded at Metalworks Studios, which is owned by the band Triumph. However, I knew Rush had recorded a ton of albums. Most of the albums from the 80s were recorded, I think, from like Presto going forward. And you see all the gold records on the wall because, of course, the studio gets a gold record whenever if it was recorded there. And I go in to the one isolation booth to start laying guitar tracks the first day, and forget about Triumph or the fact Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusion 2 was recorded there, and all the way up to Celine Dion's done stuff. And I'm in the isolation room, and all I can think of, Alex Lifeson probably stood right here to lay down his tracks.
Yeah, right.
And I'm just like, okay, and then you would ask questions with the engineer because he had been working there a number of years. I'd be like, how long have the headphones been in that room? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, because I'm thinking to myself, who wore these headphones?
Right.
Stuff like that.
Can there be some osmosis through those?
Exactly. Yeah. Or in the vocal booth. And I'm thinking, my God, how many people have stood in this vocal booth?
Did he leave any genius in those headphones?
Yeah.
But so it's Vapor Trails was the one that they come back in 2002 when they played again, or when they got back came off of hiatus from Neil.
Like Grumpy Mike says, I was a drummer when I first got into them, or I thought I was a drummer.
Jeez. Yeah, it's Rush is one of the only bands that you go and you play air drums, not air guitar. Everybody, you look out in the crowd, everybody's all over the place.
Yep.
So it's crazy. It's craziness. There's a lot of
Although I'm still trying to capture Alex's big chorus sound of the 80s. When you just do the hanging chords, right? Ding. Yep. Like a distant early warning. That's the benchmark.
One of my favorite Alex solos off of Signals is the Analog Kid. And I love that. He says his favorite's Limelight, and that's also a great solo. But yeah, it's crazy. There are a lot of titles flowing through the chat here. Farewell to Kings, good album. Permanent Waves, good album. Signals, great album. Permanent Waves has my favorite song of all time on it, which is Spirit of Radio.
That reminds me, actually, a canceled tour this year was Les Claypool, Now, I don't know if it was going to be as Primus, but Les was going to go out touring as they were going to play a Rush album.
Yeah, Farewell to the King.
Yes.
Was the tour. Yep. So it was going to be a tribute to Neil. So I think it was going to be Primus, but playing all Rush tunes or Rush-esque tunes. You know what I mean?
Which was always funny because, I've been a Primus fan since their second album, which only band ever to release an album. And then their second album is a live album of the first album.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And they always say, we're Primus and we suck. But then they would go into YYZ. And I'm like, you guys suck and you just pulled that off. You're writing Primus songs by choice, guys.
Yeah, my sister gave me Primus Sailing the Sea of Cheese Primus album, and Jerry was a race car driver. I just love that bass lick. It's just it's amazing. Just to see him. I saw him play it live somewhere, and it's crazy. And he's dancing around.
I was supposed to see Rush on that tour, Primus opening for Rush.
Oh wow.
But the Toronto date was right in the middle of exam week in high school. And I arranged to get the day of the concert exam postponed, but I couldn't get the following day off because it was a weeknight show. And one of the teachers said, okay. The other one said no. And I went, I really wanted to go to that show so bad, but didn't, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolute mayhem. Where would he put two more drums? He's got so many.
They pretty much have to be hanging down above.
Two more to fill out his kit. Yeah, I mean now a lot of it is now like the drum pads that he has. It's just, his solos. I could still watch his solo, the 8 or 9, 10-minute solos. I could still watch and just watch the whole thing and be mesmerized. The hair still stands up on my arms. It's crazy.
And he's the only guy that can use a kit that size, and it's tasteful in every song. Oh, and you do a little clack, clack, clack here, or chimes in another song, or whatever.
And then he'll get up and spin around and do the Gene Krupa type stuff, It's like, hey,
Donnie, love it. There's a name I haven't seen in a while. He says, hi, Ben and Brendan, still out here. Mostly have to watch replays due to work. Stay safe. Great to hear from you, Donnie. Awesome.
Jay's leaving. Put Ellie to bed.
See you, Jay. Have a good one. Yeah, we're going to wrap up in a few minutes here anyhow.
Good night, Ellie. And thank you, Jay. Jay's also an amazing human. Wish you lived closer, buddy. But maybe I'll get down there eventually. Say goodnight to Killian, too.
If I ever get to the Myrtle Beach area, I'm definitely darkening that doorstep.
Yep. They have a Ring camera, though. He's going to see you coming. So just...
Jeannie likes me.
He's like, hello. Jay's not home. Hello.
I'm here to relieve Jay of all of his gear, Jeannie. Come right in.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, what's up, Doc? They've had some nice titles. Primus stuff. We're known as Big Brown Beaver.
Still a great song.
Yeah. And yes, Craig Tomlinson. I've seen that Letterman show where Peart playing.
Yes.
He did a tribute to Buddy Rich too. He had Buddy Rich's band or something similar, and he did.
Did he not do an actual tour with that?
I think he did. Yeah, it was a shortened tour, but he did, and he did. There was one album, I can't remember which one it was. Maybe someone will know probably, but here he played the whole thing just with the traditional grip.
Yep.
Like the left hand traditional grip. Yes, I have my Neil Peart signed drumsticks.
Nice.
So, but yeah, he did the whole album traditional grip. And,
and it seemed, I want to say for some reason that was around the early 90s where everything was imploding and grunge hits the scene, and he went, well, Rush ain't doing a tour for the next year and a half. So guess what? I'm going old school when all y'all are putting on, there's another Southern reference, all y'all. Which is essentially the same word twice.
You were practicing in case there was a summer NAMM. So
the problem is this stuff's from North Carolina, and I think it's the accent sips in with it. So,
good night, Amanda.
CSS, which actually we're coming up on 2 hours here. That time
flew.
Thank you, Mayhem. He just posted the Neil Peart on Letterman solo.
Oh, cool.
Crowbar says he uses a traditional grip as well, but he's not a drummer. See, right. we didn't have boner jams here, but we got Crowbar, right?
Crowbar's a funny guy. Yeah, we have Crowbar.
Yes. Don't ever change, Crowbar. Don't ever change.
No. That's cool.
It's actually it's funny. Crowbar, he moderates a handful of channels, and he brought up a great point that it just stuck with me. And while I thought of it, was we were having some people, times are tough, people are under stress, so you get a little bit of ranting going on in live chats, and unfortunately we have to warn people, and we generally will give them a timeout. We won't ban somebody, especially if it's a regular, everyone has an off day, and they're like, well, clean free speech, what have you. But what people have to realize is each YouTube channel is like our house, and you coming into live chat is coming into my house. And guess what? If I don't like what you're saying, I'm kicking you out of my house. So.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Jeez.
We have Crowbar. Sounds like a disease.
Could be. I don't know what cures that. More cowbell, more gear, more pedals. I don't know what cures that. Moonshine.
Yeah, apparently you have to acquire gear. Yeah, that's the key.
Moonshine will probably help. Pour a little moonshine on it, go away.
I did that one year. I had a wasp sting down south one year, and it started to swell up. And my buddy's like, do you want me to take you over to the medics? And I'm like, no, because I know American healthcare and I don't have traveler's insurance. So I'm like, I rubbed some moonshine on it. That should help. And he starts laughing. I'm like, what? It's pure alcohol. And he went, well, yeah, okay, you got a point. Yeah. Oh, man. So definitely, everybody should check out Brendan B Squared Cigar Box Cigars on Etsy.com. Everyone check out. It's in the link in the description here. Maybe one of the moderators can throw the link in the chat as well. I do appreciate it. Everyone should go out and buy themselves a cigar box guitar and have Brendan himself build it, because why not? Community build right there.
Would be cool.
Keep it all in-house.
I appreciate you having me on, Ben. This was a lot of fun. I know we didn't talk all about cigar box guitars, but hey, that's what a hang is, right? Just talking about just stuff. If anybody does have questions or anything, send me a Absolute Mayhem. Just put the link in there to the Etsy store. It has my email in there too, so feel free to email me about anything. Ask me anything. I'll answer anything and do what I can. And if I don't know the answer, I'll find out.
That's right. Oh. Yeah, and hell, Brendan's been a member of the community here about as long as I have, a couple of years, and definitely we'll check out. He builds good stuff. I like mine, and it was funny. Like you've followed the channel for a while, and I've been trying to come up with a damn name for the Sunday show, right?
Yeah.
And it's always like Talking Gear with, and I'm like, And then about a month and a half ago, we were talking, and then, 3 key factors of being in a band is ability, but the biggest thing is the hang.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's it. It's this, because so many times, like, you as a guest, you'll come on. Okay, so what's the topics for tonight? I'm like, fuck it. Let's just go live and hang. And it's like, it's the Sunday night hang. That's what this is.
So one final question, I guess. Unfuckable. Nice name. Favorite pickup for a cigar box is this one, which is my signature one. A company called here it is. B Squared Cigar. A company called 12 Bar Blues makes them, and they have a web page, and I think they have a Facebook page and all stuff. They hand wind them. They make them for 6-string as well, but they make 3 and 4-string. They're surface mount, so they're very easy to mount. You don't have to route anything. You just drill a hole. And to me, they sound the best, at least on the guitars that I've built. Mm-hmm. And I've used a bunch, but when I started out, I just started using piezo pickups, which is basically a little microphonic disc. And those sound okay too. That's more of the grassroots earlier cigar box sound. But you want to get a little bit more modern with a little more.
I like the fact that you put an actual pickup in them now too, because that's going to lend itself better to pedals.
That's what I mean. You can run it through anything, and it sounds amazing.
Because isn't that where we are as musicians at this point? We're using amps that were wired. The designs are from the 40s. We're playing guitars designed in the 50s, and we're doing shit to them. They had no inkling that was going to happen.
Oh, wow. I didn't know Absolute Mayhem played the guitar you have.
Oh,
Ben.
yeah. He lives 20 minutes down the road from me.
Oh, awesome.
So,
well, I'm glad you liked it. I was telling Ben earlier that wasn't my best. It's not bad, but it wasn't my best. So
yeah, that scares me, folks. That scares me because I really dig it. So
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
This was a good time.
Again, everybody, definitely check out Brendan's stuff. If you're watching on replay and it's not Sunday night, I probably have a link to Brendan's YouTube channel as well. I say probably because we're going to assume I remember to put it in there. So, in theory, best intentions, I'm going to put the link in down below, folks. But
I'll remind you. I'll call and remind you.
There we go. I like that idea. So, all
right,
there
Ben,
we have
thanks,
it. So,
man.
if you want to hold the line here, everybody come back here in approximately 22 hours for Canucks with Guitars, where I may have a guest. I may be playing guitar. I don't know because I haven't talked with my part-time co-host yet. So we'll see on that. Who knows? May have a guest come thing. I might send out a text message on that too. So everyone have a great night. Hold those doors open. Let that guy in ahead of you in traffic. Do good things and good things will happen to you. Karma is real. I'm living the dream. Butt Cheeks is living that dream.
Yes.
So
Be
have
safe
a great
out there.
night.
Be safe.
Be good to each
people.
other and rock on, folks.